Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are the breaks. It is Tuesday, May the 9th. You know what that means? Taco Tuesday.
These are the breaks.
These are the breaks.
You know what it is.
These are the breaks with myself, Fredo Cervantes, and oh my lord, it is just an excitement around the city of Los Angeles after last night's, I don't know what to call it, because nobody really expected the Lakers to be up 3-1 in a series against the Golden State Warriors, the defending champions, and Stephen Curry. Like, it's crazy enough to think that the Warriors still have a chance in this series. I mean, anyone that thinks that the Warriors still have a chance in this series are just knuckleheads. They're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about, because I'm not going to come in here and say that the Warriors still have a chance. No, they don't have a chance. We clearly saw yesterday that they don't have a chance, and we saw that the Lakers are undefeated at home during the playoffs. They are 7-0, including the play-in tournament. Undefeated so far in the playoffs. That means that the Laker fans, Laker Nation out there, they're the most important part of this team in this year, because, it's 2021, which was, no one really wants to talk about that. That was actually the last playoff appearance, because people want to just look at it like if it was 2020. 2021 actually happened, but it wasn't at full capacity. It wasn't the full team. We saw AD break down in game 3 of that series against the Phoenix Suns in the first round. And we saw the team at that time was just like, okay, they don't know where to go. They lost a few players from the championship team. And, you got a chance to see what Frank Vogel, what this team was really looking like. And the 2021 was just kind of a mess. We go into 2022, you bring Russell Westbrook, and you keep him for a year and a half. You ship him out this past, a few months ago, and then now you are on the verge of making another Western Conference Finals appearance. And you got to give the man some credit, and, you got to give him some credit, and you got to give Darvin Ham some credit for making certain adjustments. And one of the things that I've always had and criticized Darvin Ham throughout the year was always it was the timely shots, timely timeouts, that there are certain times in the game, especially when you're under 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, you can feel the pace. You can feel turnover, bucket, turnover, bucket, turnover. You got to call timeouts in certain situations. And yesterday I was watching it. I was watching it on TV, and I was like, Darvin, you got to call a timeout right here. And he listened. He called a timeout. I was like, oh my God. I was at perfect timing. And that's the timeout they called. And I think they brought Lonnie Walker. And he hit that little curl jump shot. It was like a 10-15 footer that he hit right off the timeout. And that was a great play, because that shot tied up the ball game there at 94 apiece. And when you see what Lonnie Walker did last night, you see a man that came into the fourth quarter with 0 points. He did not play in the first series. He didn't play in the first game of this series here against Golden State. He made an appearance in game 2, maybe played a few minutes, a couple other minutes on game 3. But last night, Lonnie Walker, the fourth quarter, man, you got to look at what Lonnie did last night, scoring 15 points off the bench. Take a guess. Take a guess on who was the last Laker to score 15 points or more off the bench in a playoff game. Take a slight guess. It was 23 years ago. 23 years ago, and that was number 8. Kobe Bryant in 1997 scoring over 15 points against the Utah Jazz off in the fourth quarter, which a lot of people remember those air balls, but, things happen. But AD was another situation. We saw that AD, can he be consistent enough? Can he be giving us back-to-back great games? And he literally showed that last night that he's not capable of doing that. I've been here on this show, on Monday Night Fredo, on any show I've been on, I've always said that AD is Mr. Inconsistency. He cannot be consistent enough to give you back-to-back good games, and when it looked like in the first half, it looked like he was going to have a dominant night, scoring 19 points. He had like 11 rebounds in the first half, and then here comes the second half. Only attempts 4 shots. 4 shots. I mean, if the Lakers would have lost this game, I swear, I would have gone to AD's house, which I know where you live, I know which area. I would have packed your bags and shipped you for Klay Thompson to Golden State. I think that's going to happen during the summer. That's what I think. But AD only scoring 4 points, but he was the biggest man on the defensive end during the second half. And I got to give that man some credit right there as well, because when you look at the game, I got a chance to see some of the highlights afterwards and kind of saw how alert he was on the defensive end. He was helping out like no other, and it was good what I saw. And this is a key adjustment before we go to break, because I do want to go ahead and touch on some Philly and Boston and KD and Denver. Darvin Ham made a great adjustment, because what the Golden State Warriors were doing, they were switching off of picks. And that was initially what Kerr wants. He wanted AD to continue switching off of Curry. But when AD stood his behind on Curry, he made things difficult for Stephen Curry. And a lot of people made things difficult. Even Dennis Schroeder, he made things difficult for Curry. And they've held Stephen Curry to a very minimum in the first 4 games. They've held him. I believe this is one of his worst series he's had since 2015 for Stephen Curry. I mean, I have not seen Curry rattled up like he's been in the first 4 games. I mean, yes, he did have a triple-double last night, 31, 10, and 14 assists, but nobody else was really doing anything. Klay Thompson had a night off. It seemed like he stood at the strip club in Hollywood, and he didn't show up to the game last night. He was not in the game last night. So I think that's the main reason why the Warriors did lose last night, but the Warriors are heading into Game 5 tomorrow night. Game 5 at the Chase Center, and the Warriors are already 5.5-point favorites for tomorrow night. So what does that mean? Los Angeles might be expecting a Game 6 in LA here on Friday night for Game 6. It's going to be an amazing week. But when we return here on the breaks, we're going to go ahead and stick with NBA playoffs. And there are 2 huge games going on tonight. 2 big Game 5s. One in Boston, one in Denver. When we return.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Yes. And these are the breaks with myself, Fredo Cervantes, here live from the Infinity Studios in Los Angeles. And you know what? Tonight we got 2 big games. 2 huge games live on TNT. First starting off with the Philadelphia 76ers took 2 games at home. Very impressive. Very, very impressive what happened in Game 4 on Sunday afternoon with the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to go ahead and touch on that too. But tonight is also another huge one, which is the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. That is the series that is tied at 2 apiece right now, with no Chris Paul expected to play tonight, which that means that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker will go off for another big night. Both of them went off for 36 points each on the game on Sunday afternoon, which took and tied up the series 2 apiece. And there was a situation in that game. There was a situation in Game 4, if everyone recalls, and it was everywhere yesterday, with Nikola Jokic, the 2-time MVP with the Denver Nuggets, who had a little incident on the courtside there with the Suns owner and Ishibia, something like that. But it was just funny that a lot of people want to say, oh, he flopped. He just put his elbow against his chest and he flopped. Well, dude, do you see how big Nikola Jokic is? This guy's a 7 foot, 300 pounds guy. You're talking about someone that's maybe 180 pounds. I mean, his face was up to his elbow, and nobody deserves to be touched like that, especially when you're the owner. And I don't believe this crap. I don't believe this from Nikola Jokic and Mike Malone, the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, who both said they didn't know who he was. They just thought he was a fan. And he's been sitting there every game. Everyone knows who the new owner is with the Phoenix Suns. He just became the new owner about a month ago. And when the new owner comes into the NBA, into the league, his face is around the league. You know who he is. So don't act like you don't. He's just a fan, maybe because he was dressed just like a fan. He wasn't dressed like an owner in a suit or whatnot. He had a regular green jacket. But when people want to say, oh, well, he had the ball. He didn't want to give up the ball. Do you understand what was going on at the situation? Do you understand what was going on? He was trying to pick up his teammate, his product, from the floor. How in the world is he just the ball's gonna land in this spot? He held on to it. He looks down. He's trying to help him up. He's not just gonna grab the ball, throw it, and then try to help out the guy. No, common sense. You grab the ball, then your guy's on the floor. You're maybe gonna try to help him out. Then here comes Nikola Jokic, 7 foot tall machine, and he's trying to rip the ball off. So he didn't know who was ripping off the ball. He tried to hold on to the ball to try to be like, hey, what the hell? Don't just come over here and try to grab the ball. I understand you're trying to get it back into your game and take advantage of a man down, but take a second, and Nikola Jokic, that was unnecessary contact from him, even though by the owner grabbing the ball kind of made him be in the game in a way where it kind of gave Jokic the opportunity to do that. And some people say it was okay. And he should have been ejected, not Jokic, but the owner. I don't think so. I mean, the owner didn't do a damn thing besides just grabbing the ball that landed on his slab and trying to help his product on the floor. That's it. But the Suns really took care of business at that point. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, what I heard Stephen A. Smith from ESPN say yesterday is ridiculous. He's saying that Devin Booker is Kobe Bryant. Technically, he's becoming the Kobe Bryant right now. No, he's not. He is not the playmaker and the shooter that Kobe Bryant was. He does not have the same mindset. I mean, they are certain players that are maybe near his type of play style and the way they play and the way they take they take it serious out on the court, but no one played with the same mindset. Nobody right now in the league plays with the same mindset that Kobe Bryant did. That Black Mamba mentality, no one has that right now. I mean, some people might be near it, but they're not the Black Mamba. So please don't put Booker's name next to Kobe Bryant, Stephen A. Even though he did score 36 points and been averaging 36 points in the playoffs, I get it. Guess what? Kobe Bryant averaged 35.7 points per game in the 2005 regular season. In the whole season, he did that. And just for doing it in 6, 7, 8 games, it's Devin Booker, keep it to yourself right now. This is not on you. This is on Stephen A. Smith for putting you on the same spot. But I do still see the Phoenix Suns winning this series. I do see the Phoenix Suns going into Denver tonight, being 5-point underdogs. I do see the Suns winning tonight and winning the series. They're going to win it in 7. I feel that if the Suns steal this game tonight, Nuggets will come out strong in Game 6. They will steal it in Phoenix. Then Game 7, Kevin Durant's bender. He's done it. Jokic and those guys haven't really bender and done it. And I feel that Kevin Durant has been a very good player ever since CP3 has not played in the last 2 games. The last 2 games, CP3 has not been there. KD has averaged more than 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. You look at a guy like that, you know that he's very much capable of being consistent because he's proven it. He's proven it. He's a 15-year veteran already, Kevin Durant. 2-time champion as well. So with that being said, Phoenix in 7, but another interesting series right now. This is very interesting because I'm very locked into this series, which is the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics. Tonight, it is Game 5 from Boston, Massachusetts, from the TD Garden, and we're looking at a game where the Boston Celtics let one get away in Game 4 in Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. The way they let that game get away, they were up throughout the game, but there was 2. I wish you guys can all see this right now. But there was 2 plays, identical plays, ending the fourth quarter and ending the overtime possession. All right. So Jason Tatum, I love the man. I love the way he plays, and I love the way he approaches the game and the way he kind of handles himself, being a 25-year-old. He is the best player on that Boston Celtics team. Plain and simple, yes. There is a discussion that Jaylen Brown can be the best player at times, but he's not the best player the whole time. That's Jason Tatum. When the ball is in your hands, Jason Tatum, and that's another man who likes to preach and has that Black Mamba mentality, which I still believe that he doesn't due to these situations that I'm about to talk about right now. When you have the ball with 10 seconds left in the game, your head coach does not call a timeout. Another young coach, first-year coach, and Joe Mazzulla, you're down 1 point. You're fighting to take a deep breath and try to catch your breath. That's a sign of, hey, timeout. Let your guys take a rest and, run a play. You got 10 seconds. You're down 1, up 2-1 in the series. You have the opportunity to take a 3-1 lead heading back to Boston if you were to call a timeout. Jason Tatum runs out the clock, drives down to the lane with 2 seconds, and look, Joel Embiid came right in front of his face. So what does he have to do? Kicks it out to Marcus Smart. With a second left or less, Marcus Smart didn't even realize how much time was left on the clock. And he shot it after the buzzer, and they go to overtime. Same situation happened in overtime. Jason Tatum had the ball again. They were down. He drove in. Embiid came right back on him. Kicked it out to Marcus Smart again. And he shot it late again. And they lose the game. Now, Philadelphia ties the series at 2 apiece heading back to Boston tonight. Yes, Philadelphia did steal Game 1 in Boston. But that took James Harden 50 points. That took Joel Embiid to be off the court in Game 1. And I don't think Boston is going to let this game get away. I see Boston coming out strong tonight. The way they ended the fourth quarter and the overtime possession, they're going to come out strong tonight, and even Vegas knows it. Boston is favored 7.5 tonight. So they can see Boston really dominating by 8 points or more. And that's the same way that I'm looking at it tonight. I see Jason Tatum, both of them, and Jaylen Brown this past game, 24 points, 23 points by Jaylen Brown, 24 by Tatum. They need more from those 2 guys. Those 2 are arguably the best 1-2 punch in the league, and they showed that last year. They showed that this year, being the second best team in the NBA. Now they're the best team record-wise in the league with Milwaukee out of the picture. So tonight, Boston, Game 5. After that game, you got Kevin Durant. But tomorrow, you got the Lakers. And guess what you got on Thursday? You got the first day of the NFL schedule release. You're going to get all those big games coming out. I'm going to give you guys some updates on what's going to happen in the NFL when we return here on These Are the Breaks.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
Yes. These are the breaks with myself, Fredo Cervantes. It is a beautiful Tuesday here in Los Angeles. And yes, on Thursday will be the first day that the NFL will release some projected games. And this year, there's a couple new things going on. The NFL has never had a game on Black Friday, which is a day right after Thanksgiving. They've always had games on Thanksgiving. But now the NFL decided, you know what? We're going to invest and we're going to take over Black Friday because we know that the NFL is the most watched sport on television worldwide. You know, arguably, the numbers always prove it that the NFL always pull the numbers. They always do, even though the NBA finals at times are very competitive. But on holidays like this, when people are home and they're going to want to tune into something, if the NFL is on, that is the channel that people are going to be watching. So it's going to be pretty good to see what games are going to be posted on Black Friday. I don't know if it's just going to be 1 or 2 or 3 games. Normally, there's 3 games on Thanksgiving, so you might see a couple more games on Friday, or unless they just kind of do one mega primetime game on Friday. But that is something new that's going to be going on. And this year, no team in the NFL is promised or obligated to play on primetime. There are some teams that don't get the opportunity to play on primetime television, whether it's Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football. This year, the NFL made it clear to all 32 teams that they will not be promised a primetime spot, which, you know, that is something that a lot of owners complained about last year, which, you know, it makes sense on both ends. When ownership in a team wants the spotlight on the Monday Night Football, we get it because that brings in a lot more money. But when your team is not good, we don't want to see your team out there on primetime, especially on Thursday nights. Like Thursday nights, sometimes those Thursdays games save you because when you get those Sunday games, you got a full list of games on Sunday. And that Sunday Night Football game, it's a good primetime game. We're always excited to watch that. And Monday nights, you know, Monday Night Football has been around for so many years that you always know that it will be a good game. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, now that you have to subscribe to in order to watch it on Thursdays, they really don't put that too many good games. I mean, when you have the Texans against the Browns, who really wants to watch that? Like, nobody wants to watch that. I mean, when you had a game like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, that's a game to watch. That's a game that people like to see. That's going to tune in the numbers. That's going to get Amazon some new subscribers, which is exactly what happened to me last year. I had to subscribe in order to watch the game on Prime. But that's what Prime does in order to get some subscribers. You got to put the big games on there. So this year, you got to have Aaron Rodgers playing some of those primetime games. You got to have, some more San Francisco playing those primetime games. And you got to have a little bit of more of, you got the number 1 overall pick in North Carolina in Bryce Young. So the Carolina Panthers might see themselves on primetime a little more just because of the product they got. And that's what happens at times. So teams like the Texans, sorry, guys, you guys won't be on primetime this year. But another team that is going to take their primetime stage will be the Los Angeles Sparks, which they are expected to start their season on May the 19th, which is not this weekend, but the following weekend, Friday the 19th, against the Mercury. And when we talk about the Mercury, we know that we are expected to see one of the most biggest games that we've anticipated so far, because we're looking at Brittany Griner making her debut after being released from that situation that happened in Russia. She was out there for almost a year, and she did not get an opportunity to play last year at the WNBA. So this year she's finally back. She says she's feeling very good, and she's excited to take the court again with her team. And, it's going to be very interesting because that game will be highlighted on primetime on ESPN Friday night, 8 p.m., live from the Crypto.com arena. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. But I do kind of want to give you an update on, on what's going on with the Sparks. This week, they do have the first game on Friday night at Phoenix, which is a preseason game. One preseason game they will get before they start the season the following Friday. But you got to look at the young rookie in Zia Cook. I mean, I got a chance to see a lot of her work doing what she did over in college and throughout the Final Four in March Madness, and just seeing what she's done at practice, how she's developing, and how every other Sparks player is just so excited to play with Zia. Even Kurt Miller, head coach, is just so excited to have someone like Zia who is so flashy out there. I mean, if I want to compare Zia Cook to an NBA player, I want to say, and I want to give her some Allen Iverson. I mean, Allen Iverson took the court like a player, not the biggest guy on the court, but he was maybe one of the fastest, one of the more craftiest players out there, and he was just so confident. And that's what I saw in Zia in her time in college, and looking at her right now during training camp with the Sparks. So Zia is going to be one great player. Hopefully she gets the minutes that she kind of deserves. I feel like she should get at least 15 to 20 minutes, depending on her production. But you do have other guys, other girls, like, you got Lexi, you got Carly Samuelson coming back to the squad. So you got two sister duos on the team. You got Nneka and Shanae. But another candidate that really did very good last year, led the team with the assist, which was Jordan Canada. Jordan Canada shot the ball amazing last year as well, just like Lexi Brown. But she led the team in assists last year. Can she do that again this year with more weapons around her? I really do believe so, and I hope so. The Sparks came out yesterday 8th ranked due to the ESPN WNBA preseason rankings. They were ranked 8th. I think that's a little too low, especially with Nneka playing on the 1-year contract and seeing that she's a 12-year veteran. What is she going to do next? She's like in LeBron's stage right now. She's up there. She's won a chip, multiple-time All-Star. Now she got a team around her under a 1-year contract. She's going to really perform out there. So Nneka's really going to take the next stage. So, and I do see finally the Sparks hopefully making the playoffs this year after not doing so in the last 2 years. But we'll see what it takes. Next Tuesday, you can definitely catch me here on the breaks. But catch me on Monday Night Fredo every Monday night, 8 o'clock, here on the Infinity Studios. And I will see you guys next week. I don't know if next week the Lakers are going to be in the second and the third round or not. I don't know. There might be a possible Game 7 on Sunday. We'll see about that.